Good evening. How is everybody doing on this lovely Thursday? I hope you all are doing well. It's still summertime. I don't know how the weather is where you all are, but I'm back in Virginia and it's a nice mild temperature out there. It's a good time for me to go to the beach. But I'm here
Here we
with you
go.
guys, and I'm glad to be here with you all as we jump into this evening of literacy, culture, community, and love. Also glad to be here with my co-host,
Long time to see.
ever active and ever community oriented, getting things done, Mr. Rodney Jordan. How are you this evening?
I'm good. It's good to see you. Feel like I haven't been up here in a while, but it's good to be back, and we got to get reared up for the fall. So we're
Yes, yes.
always good, fun work ahead.
Yeah, definitely time to kick it in gear. A lot of people are already in that mode. You know, I was just down further down south in Atlanta and Alabama, and school has already started down that way. And we are getting in gear here, switching up the gears to get ready for the school season. But again, it's still summertime, so I hope summer reading is still happening out there, Virtual Village family.
Yes.
We can't, lapse on that. So I hope you guys are still doing fun things and culturally affirming things when it comes to reading, all right, as a family and making sure that the babies are reading, all right? Don't break our hearts. Okay, make sure those babies are reading, all right? So I think we got a little things we want to talk about with you guys. You know, we're working on some great things, some interesting changes will be coming up as the school year comes on. We're all going through changes, but I feel like a lot of us are adapting well as we can, making the best of situations. I see people coming together, so it's a lot going on, but we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out.
We don't have any choice. We have to.
Yeah. And again, what's my word, y'all? Kuumba. Kuumba, we are definitely exercising that creativity to come together and make it happen. But I know that they're here for the story, right? So we're not gonna take up a lot of time tonight to getting into that. But before we can get into that, we gotta get into this, right?
Look, mommy, community in action. But oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. But oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirming, and culture for me too. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Learning, exploring about history, you see. Look, mommy, and let us down to that. We confident, we practice, and develop fluency. Look, daddy, and let us down to that. Families, they bonding, they representing me. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Look, auntie, and let us down to that. Nice, I see a lot of sound of that. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers and leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers and leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have to sit. Look, mommy, give me the lead in action. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirming, culture for me too. Look, granny, let us down to that.
Forever loving the sound of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in addition to that, I'm loving the faces, just watching that and seeing all of the lovely faces, the beautiful people who have come through and added to this virtual village family. So sonically and visually, that's just it's quite the sight to see. And again, we appreciate Sister Portia and the lovely Peyton, both of them beautiful sisters who came as a mommy daughter duo and blessed us with their theme song. Oh my gosh. Again, y'all know that's my ringtone. So yeah, I can't say I missed the song. I miss you guys. And but I hear that song all day. So are you gonna be doing some reading tonight? I know I'm gonna be reading. How about you?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. We're gonna do ladies first.
Yes, that's always a good thing, I think.
Ooh, ladies first. Ladies first. All right. I think we have a let's see. We have Bridget is in the house. She said, "Hey, miss y'all. How you doing, Bridget? Hope you are doing well up there in Flint, Michigan. We need you and Carter back on the scene. Okay? We need y'all back on the scene. But I am going to jump right into this story because it's story time. So we're going to get into the story. I want to say that what I'm reading tonight, we appreciate the people who donate books to the cause, okay? Because as we are moving forward, we are going to make sure, if you're familiar with Clever Communities in Action, then you know that every year we donate a minimum of 200 brand new culturally affirming books to 2 Title I elementary school libraries. We were not able to do that this year because of COVID, but this upcoming school year, we're going to make sure that books are going home, that they are in the homes, in the hands of the children. So building up those libraries, okay? We're going to help with that. So we appreciate the people. This came from Sister Vivian Oden with the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. She's doing big things, great, important things over there. This is one of the books that she donated to us. And I'm super excited about this. If you grew up on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this is The Fresh Princess, okay? So like remix, all right? So it's only right that I start us off with this freshness, okay? So I'm going to take you off the screen.
All right.
And I'm going to do my thing, okay?
Okay, go for it.
All right, so it's on me, you guys. Y'all have all of my attention right now, and I'm going to read this treasure right here, The Fresh Princess. This is a story all about how. Let's see here. I just got this one too. I'm familiar with it, but literally I just got back from the post office, and what a wonderful treat, like I said, when we get these books donated. So I hope everybody, if you're tuned in, if you have little ones, or if you all the way grown and you just want to hear some good stories with some beautiful illustration, pull up right now, okay? This is Destiny. Her dad calls her Princess, his fresh princess. All right, look at Destiny. Destiny likes a lot of the things that princesses like. Poofy dresses and sparkly shoes, shiny crowns, her princess throne, and her loyal subjects too. My page turning skills should be better by now. She's also really good at being really fresh. That means she's brave, has her own style, and is super smart. She shines like a new penny most days. Being fresh is a good thing. Like when Destiny's big sister Marley teaches her how to double dutch, and Destiny jumps and trips and struggles and jumps back in again, cool as she pleases, until she's got it lit. Go, Destiny. Today, Fresh Princess is not feeling fresh at all. That's because her family is moving to a new house in a new city. It is far away from everyone she knows and everything she loves. Destiny is not happy about that. Uh-oh. Anybody ever experienced having to move away from what is familiar? Her dad tries to make it all better. That is his thing. Boo-boos get Band-Aids. Bellyaches get soft rubs. Sleepyheads get good night kisses. On this day, getting back to feeling joyful takes way more work. Her heart will need more to fill in the empty spaces where her happy used to be. Reminds me, maybe not a move, but a lot of the changes that our children are about to be going through or already going through at the moment. Let's see how Destiny fares. Destiny perks up a little bit when she sees her new room. It has potential, she says to herself. She imagines the magnificent city she'll build there, the fancy luncheon she'll host, and the new throne that will be the centerpiece of her new castle. Yes, all of this imagination. All right, Paige. Destiny finds a new favorite place where the daylight greets her every morning and the stars wink at her each night. She perks up a little more when she looks outside. Destiny listens to the rhymes as the double Dutch rope skips a beat across the concrete. Bluebells, cockle shells, ivy over. The jumpers swing their hips and watch the ropes. Then they take flight. Destiny thinks it might be fun to jump in, but those kids are good, really good. So for now, she just watches. Her dad wants to help his fresh princess feel at home, so he invites her on a big adventure. One of his favorite things to do when he was a kid in his neighborhood was to ride the L train. Speeding at the top of the city made me feel like the king of the world, Dad said. Let's go see your new kingdom. I'm digging this illustration. Mama, oh no, Madam, wait a minute, let's try this again. Madame, your royal carriage. Destiny takes Dad's hand, climbs the steps, and prances down the aisle to her royal seat. She giggles as the train picks up speed, whistling and whirring through the West Philadelphia. Along the way, Destiny's dad points out love letters tucked on the building's rooftops and spines. Keep your head to the sky, Fresh Princess, he says as they roll on by. Destiny waves and blows kisses as the buildings salute her passing by. She does love what she sees, but still, she aches for home. Back at their new place, the kids are playing double dutch again. One of the girls flashes a smile and invites her to join. Destiny says, no thanks. She is not ready for her public. Not yet. Maybe soon. Why are you not playing double dutch? Asked Marley. You are just as good a jumper as anybody here, she says with a smile. What if I fall flat on my face? Asked Destiny. It would be the first time. Plus, you just get back up. You're the Fresh Princess. Destiny thinks about this and realizes she can do it. So she grabs her sparkly sneakers and decides to get out there and show them how it's done. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come through, little Destiny, little Fresh Princess. Can you jump? Asked one of the girls. She says her name is Mary. Destiny gives a slow yes. Come jump with us, says Mary. Mary introduces Destiny to the block. There is Shani and Estet, Zoe, and Zion, Miles, and 2 Leelas. All right, so here's the game, the new clique. The new clique. How's this gonna go for Destiny, aka the Fresh Princess? Finally, it's her go. Destiny takes her place next to the ropes as the Turner swings their arms. Cinderella, dressed in yellow, went upstairs to kiss her fella. Destiny takes a deep breath, swings her hips to the beat, and like the brave Fresh Princess, jumps in. And the happiness she feels in this very moment, jumping high and free, surrounded by her new friends, is the freshest of all. Uh-oh. Get it, Destiny. All right. She did that. She did that. Awesome. Let's see here. Let me bring my co-host back. All right. So that was The Fresh Princess, and it is inspired by Will Smith, The Fresh Prince.
Very nice story. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it's words by Deneen Milner and pictures by Gladys. I guess that's Jose. Yeah, that was a good story, and always these themes, reading. I love the imagination in here. The little girl talking about her little queendom or princess kingdom in her room and all the things that she was going to do. And again, these are great ways to talk about the change that children are dealing with. It may not be a move, but there's a move in what has been normal for them. So we can use these stories to tie this in, how Destiny triumphed and she had support from her father. She had support from her sister. And those things helped her. Those people helped her to be able to face her new environment. And our children are embarking on a new environment. They did have the virtual learning before, but this one's going to be different. So just being mindful to support them. And we have these tools, these things that build their literacy skills and vocabulary and all these different things and help them to be proud of who they are. We can use these stories for multiple ways of learning and coping.
Yes, I agree. I was just thinking about the story. I was as you were reading it, it reminded me. So I had friends down the street, and they would always jump rope and double dutch and sing chant some of the same chants that you had in the book. So forgive me if I zoned out for a minute. I was back on the street trying to figure out how to double dutch. And then
can you double dutch? I believe you said you could.
I tried. Yeah, I could. I tried. And then we used to call, was it, I don't know why we called it this, but it was Chinese jump rope. That sound familiar to you? It's something we used to play, and I know we used to put the rope around the legs, and you would jump up and jump on the rope, and then you had to jump off the rope and turn around. Anything like that sound familiar to you?
No, but it may sound familiar to some of our viewers. Just because I don't know about it doesn't mean that it's very intricate. I
have to track my cousins down. They can remind me or tell me what I'm trying to. Yeah, I see it here. Yep, I just Googled it. Chinese jump rope.
I know Chinese checkers.
Yeah. No, yeah. See, so Chinese jump rope, you would put it around the back of your legs, and then you would jump up, and you would hold down one end of the rope, or you would try to jump on both ends of the rope. But man, you just took me back. I'm gonna have to look them after we get off. I'm gonna have to play some of it on YouTube so I can remember how it was done. But I do remember it.
Okay, I'm not saying it's not a thing.
Okay, Miss Bridget says she remembers. Okay, there you go. Okay, yeah.
Maybe y'all can give us a demo.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that one day as we go into the new season.
You know what? I am thoroughly enjoying summer, and I need more time, out at the beach and everything. I do want my time. I got to get the rest of August and September, but I do enjoy fall, because it's just as you get into the swing of school starting, I feel like you start thinking about the fall season. I enjoy fall. I could live, I could just have like 2 weeks of winter and be done with that.
Yeah, but fall is my favorite season.
It's so pretty, I hope we get the fall colors in this year.
Yeah, I don't like raking the leaves anymore, but other than that, I enjoy fall. It's.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, sometimes you get right there where it's cool enough or warm enough. You can wear a windbreaker, but you can still be cool, and you get the breeze, and of course, you think of, like you're just saying, school being in, and so I just love fall.
The views, like when the fall colors come through, I hope we get them this year. The smells, and then it's still a nice time to be at the beach.
Yes, it is. Well,
it's still a nice time.
In this area, I think you could be at the beach year round.
I can't, because I can't do that type of cold.
It doesn't get real cold here.
What?
It doesn't get cold here.
I can't just be out in cold. You know,
I
like
don't
I
like
can
it cold
pass
either.
through cold, but I can't just be like in cold for an extended period of
I
time.
don't like cold either. Makes my eyes water and all that. But I don't. But there's since Miss Bridget is here, there's
I
uh
know about
there-
that Michigan
yeah,
cold.
there's Virginia
And
Beach
it's
cold, and there's Detroit cold.
yes, that Michigan cold bite you in the behind. That stuff is not nice. Okay, that's an angry cold right
Yes,
there. Like, woo. And then
yes,
that upstate New York cold.
yes,
Ooh,
yes,
no.
yes, yeah.
Now that was when I experienced that was when I came back here and I was like, I don't know if cold is the right word for me to use anymore in comparison to those levels of cold. But nonetheless, I feel what you're saying. And for people who live here and tourists, come on, support our area. It's nice on the off season, get a little room down there on the ocean front here. It's off season, the rooms are nobody's there, and then you get the balcony room and just enjoy that view. That's about the best I can do with that cold out there. Look at it that way, but it's still pretty. It is. We live in a lovely area. I say all the time. A lot of people take that for granted when they live in beach towns, beach areas. We have a lot of beautiful scenery around here, and all you folks tuning in, and you beautiful Black folks tuning in, wherever you are, I encourage y'all to think about the natural things, the scenic things that are where you are. That's a whole story time and lesson, and create your own story with your little ones while you're out on a hike or going kayaking, or just different trails or historic places where you are. Like, come on, check those out. We can't do all the things that we've been doing normally during this time, but a lot of those things are free, and they are just a matter of you seeking them out and making it super fun. We still got a little bit of summer left, so there's still time.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's Joe said, and then there's Florida cold.
Yeah.
So I have friends down here, family.
60, 70 degrees.
It'll be like it's cold and it's in the 60s. And then that's like in January and February. And then we like happy if we see a 6 in front of the temperature here at that time. They're like, oh, it's cold.
Well, I told you I lived in Phoenix for a couple of years, so on occasion it might drop down to 40 or 50, or if you're out in the desert, it might drop a little bit, but yeah, there's no real cold down there.
Nah, they don't know about the cold. They don't know about the cold, but it's cool. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I got to get down there. I definitely want to get down there and enjoy Florida. I've been ridiculed. My family, they always, well, you want to do all these things. I want to ride. What is it called? An airboat?
Oh, you mean the hydroplane?
The swamp tour.
Yeah, the swamp boat. Yeah.
Yes, I want to do that so badly. I want to do that. Nobody ever wants to do these things with me, so I end up doing a lot of things by myself. But I won't do that by myself. I'm not. I'm not gator trained yet. So
yeah, I think I was on a trip to New Orleans one time and did the hydroplane boats or the swamp boats there. So yeah.
Now, when you went there, did you tour any of the historic plantations or any? Have you ever done that?
Everywhere I go, I tried. Well, you say the plantation. So yes, I'm trying to remember. There was some tour that I went on. I have to see if I can find it, but it had, it was the African American or the African perspective or experience of the tour. I have to ask my daughters. I think they went on it with me one time when I was there. But yeah, I do try to take African American tours, or whether they are guided tours or on my own. I'll go go walking or find out where the certain parts of the neighborhood is. So if I'm in Miami, I always go to Overtown, and New Orleans, you go out to Central City and different neighborhoods there. When I was in Chicago, you got to hit the South Side. So anywhere I go, Philadelphia. So every city, especially if I'm going to be there a few days. When I was in, so let me say it right, Louisville last October. That's when I did went out to Muhammad Ali's home, birth home, and try to find where the African American restaurants are. And I can't remember if I told you the story when I was in Denver, and I went walking, looking, and they had this place that was colored, painted red, black, and green. So I thought it was.
I thought you meant they had a place that was colored, like.
They have that too.
Oh yeah, tell me.
Have that too. But it was the outdoor was painted red, black, and green. So I thought it was a bookstore, like Brother George's bookstore used to be on 35th Street here in Norfolk. And I started to go into the store, and I was immediately greeted by a police officer. And it just shocked me because I was trying to figure out why the police officer was at the door, checking me out as I was trying to go into this bookstore. And then I realized it was a marijuana dispensary. And so I didn't stay. But yeah.
Sure you didn't stay. No, it's just.
I didn't stay.
I'm just my cousin and I, we actually went to a plantation in Charles City, Virginia, and it was quite the experience.
Hold on. You just said something very important. I'm gonna be right back. You said Charles City, I'm gonna be right back.
So y'all know that he has all of these historic things. So I don't know if he's getting ready to come back with some type of historic document, an artifact. I have no idea, y'all. We don't know, but stay in your seats and we'll find out. I'm gonna go and grab some of these comments. So we have Miss Jo Angela. She says, hello, family. Hello. Glad to have you guys tuning in. Miss you guys. George says hiking is best for Africans. If he is referring to us, I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I do. It's hard for me to get people who want to do things like that. But every time I talk somebody into doing it, they always doing these things that I get called like, oh, you want to do it? Everybody always enjoys themselves. So hiking is great. And especially if you find a really beautiful scenic trail. And then it's my goal. The last couple of years, we haven't been getting strong fall colors, but I like fiend for the fall colors every year and going on a hike with all those beautiful, oranges and yellows and reds just all around you like that. I'm telling y'all, nature is a beautiful thing and it's grounding. It'll calm you. It'll calm some of y'all high strung. Maybe not anybody tuned in right now, but you know somebody that needs to take a long walk. Okay. So, just beautiful. It's nature. And then Miss Regina said, come on down
to cold Florida.
Right. See, right. You're gonna end up knocking at her door one day.
Right. Bring your mink coat.
Yes. But I was saying that we went to Charles City to a plantation, and it was first of all, I was upset by the fact that we had to pay. I think that I had everybody there shook because I had a lot of questions about this, and it seems like everybody had a lot of the same questions, but they didn't ask they were afraid to ask, but I asked. So it turns out, actually, we didn't know this until after the fact, but the family, the descendants of the family, all the way back to the 1800s, or I don't remember how far back it went that they owned that one. They lived upstairs still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're charging people. And I was like, well, I'm Black. I don't feel like we shouldn't have to. Well, actually, I said that to my cousin. And she told the girl at the register who looked so oh my God, I didn't feel like I should have to pay for that. I don't think I should have to pay to go to a plantation. And I don't think I would pay again to do it. And as we went through the tour, they talked about everything except for enslavement. And when we went in the quarters that were supposed to be the quarters for our ancestors, when you read on it, it just made it seem like that they were workers there, like that they were domestic workers. And so, of course, I had some things to say about this. And one of the tour guides, like, he broke away and was like talking to us about it, but he was looking like he didn't want anybody to hear him. But he was like, I agree. And, but nonetheless, my whole thing was I wanted to be on the grounds. I wanted to feel the energy, see the location where where these things went down. I would like to find one. I remember as a child, I read about somewhere in North Carolina where a black family bought the plantation that their family worked on. Their family was enslaved on. I would like to go to that one. But I didn't feel like I should have to pay for that. I didn't like that.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever told you the story, and one day I have to tell you.
Here we go, y'all.
This is actually an aerial photo of a plantation site, or a site that was used as a plantation in Charles City. I think that's the James River, or maybe the Chickahominy, but I think it's the James River right there. I believe this is the photo of River's Edge. So back in the late 80s, early 90s, my uncle wrote a book called We Can Make It Together, Daring Vision for the Future for Black Americans. And part of what he did at that time, he had option on 1,400 acres of land in Charles City. So this is an aerial photo of one of these plantations that he had this option on back then. And he had this vision, as he details in his book, of the Proud Black Cultural and Convention Center that he wanted to build on the James River in Charles City, which he describes as the Black Cultural and Convention Center, to be located near Jamestown, Virginia, where slaves were first brought into this country. Remarkable progress, 180 degrees from slavery. And he envisioned farming. So it says, together, we can and should own and operate a network of farms throughout the country that rivals anything which now exists. Modern farming is a good and profitable business. Let's farm 180 degrees from slavery. And let me go back and say that on this Proud Black Cultural and Convention Center, these are solar panels that he was talking about long time ago, long before we had the green movement. Then he had the idea for the Soulmobile, together through the Proud Black Trust. So he envisioned this Proud Black Trust Fund where every African American would contribute $10 a year to the trust fund, and that this Proud Black Cultural and Convention Center would be our African American Mecca. And so we would come and do sojourns there in Charles City, with, again, the idea of being brought to the James River as enslaved in part, and then returning to the James River freely. And then we've often talked about Marcus Garvey, whose birthday was earlier this week. And so then my uncle also envisioned, as he called it, the SS Soul Sister, which we will have the economic power to own and operate our own shipping line in successful competition with foreign shipping lines all over the world. So one day I have to tell you the story of We Can Make It Together, and River's Edge, and James City, and the Proud Black Trust Fund for Dignity, Excellence, and Independence. But when you say it, Charles City, that just rang with me, right to my heart.
That's pretty amazing. Wow. Mm-hmm. Can we see that book again?
We Can Make It Together.
Wow. I
Mhm.
love it. And that's your uncle.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you are a wealth of history, a treasure trove of
Yeah.
actual local,
Yep.
history that we can put our hands on.
Yep. I've been
I
blessed.
think that's really, really great.
So speaking of history, someone who is a real historian in this area, Dr. E. Curtis Alexander. I think I talked about him once before. As far as I'm concerned, in this area where we used to do Kwanzaa activities, Dr. Alexander introduced me to that. He had the ECA Associates Press, where he was publishing, Black literary works for years. I remember he took me up to the Harlem Book Festival one year on 125th Street. And by chance, I hadn't talked to him in years. If you see, often in the newspaper, you'll see a tall African American gentleman who's been doing research and history on blacks in the Union Army during the Civil War. And so he's been doing that research and has traced his own lineage, along that pathway. Well, while you were down south, one day he happened to call me, and he actually called me by accident. But we talked, and we hadn't talked in several years. But I want to try to. I don't know if I'm as good as the influencers. Let's see if I can remember how to bring up. Remember how the can't remember much of anything. Remember how to bring up the screen. Let's see.
It should be right there at the bottom where it says share.
Yeah, I'm working. I think I have to do it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it because I uploaded my upgraded my operating system, and I think it's gonna cause me to reboot in order to do it. So I have to do it next time. But what I want to do in Kindle, and I guess I can still share the story, but not share the imagery. Kwame Alexander, are you familiar with Kwame Alexander?
I am. I
Okay.
gotta be.
Okay. So Kwame's father is Dr. E. Curtis Alexander. And so when Dr. Alexander called me, I think Kwame had just been on the Undefeated. They were having this, I guess it was a TV show on ESPN, and Kwame was up there reading his book, The Undefeated, and being engaged. So I actually met Kwame, I think it was 1988, 89. You familiar with the story of Greek Fest here in Hampton Roads?
Gotta be.
Okay. So when they had all of those events going on down at the oceanfront, it was the same time that my uncle had this optional land in Charles City. And so Kwame and some of the students from Norfolk State University were engaged in the whole Greek Fest thing. And somewhere I'll have to find this letter where my uncle had written to them to suggest that they take what was then called Greek Fest and take it up to Charles City and do a festival on the James River, kind of like what's the big festival that they always talk about where they said Jimi Hendrix played back in the 60s and 70s. It'll come to me in a minute. But to do a festival there. So I met Kwame then, and he was still a young man. He's younger than I am. But when Dr. Alexander called me, he was bragging on him, and rightfully so. And I'm trying to see if I can get Kwame to come up here one day and join us. But I was going to share his book. The Undefeated was what I was going to read tonight, but I should have tested it so I wouldn't have to go off screen unless you have another book to read. Then I can come back and join you.
So it was Woodstock.
Woodstock. That's what I was trying to think of. Yes.
I just got that book for Haley. She just read. They read that. They were supposed to send me my pictures because it came after I left.
Oh, okay.
Haley read the Undefeated because TT Star is always building up her library, so she has like 10 new books every time I come. But the Undefeated was one of them, and she definitely enjoyed that. And he has a book that I really enjoy called The Acoustic Rooster, and it's the only one because if you saw it, you would probably try to get me and say that it doesn't fall with. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, because he was.
Because you might say it doesn't fall because I'm a stickler about
your criteria. Yes.
However, I love that book and it's animals, but they are, famous Black musicians. Like, I love that's just a fun time with the little ones right there. I've had so many great reading sessions and activities with the children with that little acoustic rooster. That's my joint right there. I would have loved that one as a child. It's so fun.
As we move forward, we might have to be, we're always going to be culturally affirming, but I also think uplifting our African American authors. Maybe we'll find some room for that as well.
Yeah, what do you mean? Like just more concentration on the author?
Yeah, the author, even if the characters, even if it's roosters, it's still
okay. Yeah. I'm with that. That is I'm okay with that because I have my, but that's fine. And I do think we can talk more about the authors too. We got some exciting things coming up anyway.
Yes,
there's some changes coming, and I think you guys will like them. We appreciate also everybody who took the time to fill out the survey. That was very helpful for us, and we were glad to know that you guys have been tuned in, that y'all have gotten things from this, that y'all have enjoyed this, and that you want us to see us continue. So we're going to be offering some new things as well as keeping the familiar things. So it's going to be remix. Y'all know I grew up during the remix time, and either you can have a good remix or a bad remix. This will be a good one. Let's see. I do have some books. Like I said, I just got back and let me see. I like to give options. Okay. So if I'm going to read again, let me pull up one fell. There we go. So everybody tuned in. I'm going to give you guys, I would like for you all to vote. Brittany, if we get a tie or if we don't get enough votes, I'll let you pick it. Okay. So we have two options here. I do not believe in being bound by dates and time. Okay. This was another book that was donated to us by Sister Vivian that came in the mail today. And I went and picked it up. I was so happy when I got home to open it up. It is by, and this one is Juneteenth. Okay, so when she sent this to us earlier in the year, Juneteenth had not passed yet. But Juneteenth passed, but nonetheless, I don't see why that means like we can only talk about Juneteenth in June. So here's an option. Loving this beautiful baby girl on the cover here. It's giving me life. And so that's A. That's option A. Okay, so if you would like to hear Juneteenth, that's A. And then we have B, I Got Bank. Okay, and this one I would only read an excerpt because it's a lot going on here, but this is actually about a little boy and his finances, understanding about finances. So we have A, Juneteenth, and we have B, I Got Bank. All right, audience. Go and punch in those letters right now. Give us, are you wanting A, Juneteenth, or B, I Got Bank? Let us know. Let the calculations be in. How are y'all feeling? A or B? All right. The crowd is not moving fast. Okay, we got B. We have a B.
We have a B?
There is a B. Anybody else? All right.
Miss Helen always going in the opposite direction I wanted to go.
We have a B, you guys. So there's A, Juneteenth, and there's B I Got Bank. Okay.
Miss
Go
Helen, Miss Helen, what month is your birthday? Oh, got an A.
We have an A. We have
Got
an
another
A.
A. All right, the A's coming through for
Both
me.
are coming on in. All right. So we have 2A. So that just means that Miss Helen will definitely get around to B. Okay. We're not going anywhere. Okay. So you will get to hear B. I appreciate you all voting. Anybody else? Going once, going twice.
A.
A, and we're sold. We
All
are
right.
sold on Juneteenth, and everybody was not able to see those comments, so that they know that we did
It's
not.
October, baby. Okay.
Let's see, and
Well, that explains it. My brother's an October baby, and I'm a June baby, so now I get it.
see, I missed what you said there. And to answer Sister Shioma's question, yes, I do. I do have a published book and some more coming. So yes. But my book that is published is not actually, oddly enough, is not a children's book. So because I used to write before, I really went hardcore into this realm. So let's see. We're gonna do Juneteenth. So, all right, everybody, I am going to kick Rodney off again, and we are going to Juneteenth it up. All right. So here we go again. Thank you all for voting, and look at this beautiful brown girl on the front here. This is Juneteenth for Maisie by Floyd Cooper. Add it to your collection. Add it to your collection. All right. Maisie wants to play outside, but it is too late. It's getting dark, Maisie. It's time to stay inside. Maisie wants a cookie, but it's time for bed. Not now, little one. It's too close to bedtime. Maisie wants to stay up late, but she is too little. Bedtime is the rule, sweet girl. Oh, she got the bedtime blues. I remember those. Why so grumpy, Sugar Bear? Asked Dad. I can't go where I want, have what I want, or do what I want, answers Maisie. Well, tomorrow you can have a celebration, says Dad. What are we celebrating? Asked Maisie. We will celebrate the day your great-great-great-grandpa Mose crossed into liberty. The day will be celebrated by us and many more families on a day we call Juneteenth. Dad lifts Maisie into his arms. I bet you're tired of hearing no all the time. Well, great-great-great-grandpa Mose heard no even more. Grandpa worked in the fields that stretched all the way to sunset. He and the other slaves would be bone tired, but they had to keep going. Their masters wouldn't let them quit. But as they worked, they thought about freedom. And before they finally went to sleep at night, they prayed about freedom and made plans for change and a better future. Some slaves ran north to freedom, following a bright star in the sky. They sweat, they bled, and they cried till those cries were quieted by a single proclamation from a brave president. Grandpa Mose heard that proclamation read from the balcony of the hotel on that warm day in Galveston, Texas. We'll talk about his bravery, okay? Grandpa Mose heard nothing but cheers, saw nothing but happiness, and felt nothing but pride shared by all those around him. The cheers became dancing. The dancing became celebrating. It went on and on into the night. Grandpa Mose and the others had found freedom. They continued to work, but this time they were paid for their hard work. So they worked and they saved, and they never forgot the moment they heard, the moment that changed their lives forever. But things weren't perfect. Black people still struggled to stand shoulder to shoulder with white people. They still weren't treated as equals. It wasn't easy, but they never gave up. And every year on Juneteenth, they remembered. They marched for jobs. They lobbied for schools and the right to vote. They shouted for opportunity. And every year on Juneteenth, they celebrated and remembered. They learned and they grew. Ooh, I love her hair. They forgave. See, my co-host looked up in my face. They excelled and achieved. They became heroes. Now, sweet Maisie, it's your turn to celebrate just like great-great-grandpa Mose. It's your turn, Maisie, to eat some barbecue and drink some strawberry pop. It's your turn to celebrate. And to remember. On June 19th, 1865, soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas, announcing the end of the Civil War and the end of slavery in the United States. It was more than 2 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Celebrated every year on June 19th, Juneteenth commemorates the announcement of the abolition of slavery and the emancipation of African American citizens throughout the entire United States. All right, there we have it. I'm not gonna say anything. Hold my mule.
I'm gonna keep working on you. Forgiveness does not have to be weakness, and it doesn't have to mean forgetfulness. Okay, we'll talk about it another time. I understand your point that there's often this overemphasis on that, so it can easily feed into the stereotype that's it's like the the good and happy slave. So I get your point. I get you.
I believe it's possible to move forward without forgiving.
It's possible to move forward without forgiving. I don't know what context you're saying that. So
because people always say when it comes to forgiveness, well, you got to do it for yourself. They'll say some people say with forgiveness, it is about the folk, but oftentimes in this context, when it comes to racial crimes, heinous crimes that have been committed, atrocities committed against the Black community, and this whole forgiveness trope comes up in the debate. For the people who are saying that you should forgive, then they'll say a lot of times, well, you don't forgive for yourself, for the others, you forgive for yourself so you can move on. Then you do have the people who say you should forgive because it's the right thing, that it's the right thing to do, nonetheless. But I just feel like I'm laughing at the comment.
I'm gonna put it up there. There you go.
What is hateful rhetoric? I would like for George to explain what is hateful rhetoric. Okay, this is a debate about forgiveness, and this is a channel that talks a lot about Black history and culture. So this is something that is pertinent.
I think he's talking about the concept of the happy slave that was somehow just happy slave, and then being freed. And
we deal with that now. There's the concept when killings happen and all these different things, and the onus has been on Black people to forgive, and we've seen a lot of Black people very quickly jump out there to
so this is onus on whom and placed on us by whom? There's no which onus are you talking about? I think that's a perspective. That's fine. I hear what you're saying.
I think what's that?
No, I'm following Brother George, but go ahead.
I think that there has been historically, I think it's been a coping mechanism. There's a lot. So this is not, we have like 5 minutes left and we got on this. But a lot of things that have been adapted in our community have been coping mechanisms in my summation of it all. And because there, people lost lives. We're talking about a lot of times when we glean through history and we read books, the reason why it's really good to be learned yourself and to be aware of things is so that when you have these discussions, and then for this, the onus can't always just fully be on an author, a teacher, any one person to educate your child. You have to know the things as much as you can as well. So it's the start for a discussion. But I think the onus has been, let me see, I lost my train of thought. People would forgive a lot of times because, people were dying. People were being, people were literally, lives were being taken. And so I think that whole forgiveness thing, when it happened, that trope a lot of times was a coping mechanism because of the tyranny, the terror that people were living under. It was a little deeper, I think, than just saying that it was the right thing to do. But I do feel like there's been something placed on us because the whole concept of don't talk about it, get over it. That means, and then that turns into you need to forgive and forget. You need to move on. Then we start getting into religious aspects of things and whatnot. And in the beginning, I just said, I think that you can move forward and still be self-actualized without being like, I forgive you for doing X, Y, and Z. That's my personal. It's
a whole lot to unpack there. I would just say to you, when you say, I would say, move forward with what, right?
Right.
So there's a difference. If you're saying that an individual can move forward with life, that is different from saying an individual is moving forward with a relationship, right? So those things don't have to be the same. And then the other thing I would say is sometimes I worry that we are victims of the very thing that we say we don't want to be victims of. So if somebody stereotypes an individual or stereotypes a group, and then we buy into the stereotype, and then we have discussions based upon the very stereotype that we say that we don't want to be victims of, then we become victims of the very thing that we're saying that we're not victims of. So,
I need you to be more direct. I don't know what that means. So
you and I have the conversation all the time. So you've got your pet peeve about forgiveness. I have my pet peeve about when I think we use language that contradicts what we say we believe. So,
for example, in this conversation.
Well, I'm just going to use so for example, if you believe that you have power, if you believe that you've been created with power, then why are you running around whining about what, as though somebody else has the power to just impose upon you, and then you become a tool or a victim of somebody else's power? So sometimes the power that is that we give it. You don't follow me on that one?
Power is what?
So for example, the word that I hear often nowadays is marginalized. Okay. So the word marginalized bothers me because when you use the word marginalized, then who is marginalizing? So somebody has the power to marginalize me if I'm saying I'm marginalized. And then if I adopt the belief system that I'm marginalized, then I am marginalized. So the power.
Would it be a better word that you would prefer? Because what do you call it when people have been relegated, when people have been put in
Relegated by whom?
by the power structure here, the dominant by white
Listen,
society, the people who have been in power, the people who control the money, the government, all of these different things. So when there has been a reign of terror that has actually happened and relegated people into certain positions, should we not call it, what are you saying, let's give it a different word? Because what do we define those, because we use words as an identifier. So if you grew up in a community that has been redlined, that has all kind of chemical poisonings in it, or where homes have not been allowed to appreciate, and then people get kicked, just all of these different things, food deserts, just all of these horrible things that go into a Mississippi, go into a Georgia, go into parts of Virginia, heck,
I'm here in Norfolk. I'm in Norfolk. I
you
don't have
know,
to go far. Yeah.
what do we call this? Is it that the terminology in and of itself becomes something that ends up being oppressive and that people buy into? Like, pick a better word, or how do we define? What do we call? Is it? Yeah. Do we call it something different, or do we pretend that it's not there?
I don't think I'm in denial. But even as you were explaining that, you used language such as dominant or dominant culture. I think there's no question that there are instances of time where somebody can.
And I say that numbers is.
Say it again.
Numbers.
What do you mean by numbers?
There are more. Like, one of the biggest challenges that we have had here is because, unlike when you and I were kind of talking about this in other places, they were, if you go into the Caribbean, if you were talking about Haiti, if you were talking about Jamaica, if you were talking about Brazil or any of these places, they had more African people there than there were white people. Like, white people settled here, and they came in droves, whereas they didn't necessarily do that in a Haiti or Jamaica, or whatever. So there was more, because I saw something where a Jamaican sister, and I have not addressed this, I didn't have the time to address this in typing, and she was saying that in Jamaica, they didn't deal, in the Caribbean, Black people, Africans didn't deal with all that extreme beating as it happened here. And I'm like, oh, that's such a simple analysis of history right there. But so when I use the phrase dominant, I mean as in number.
Okay. So I didn't get a chance to read much, but since we're at the top of the hour and today is August the 20th, and since Marcus Garvey's birthday was August the 17th, and since I often have my Marcus Garvey book at my disposal, I'm just going to end with one Marcus Garvey saying: "Fear is a state of nervousness fit for children, not men. When man fears a creature like himself, he offends God, in whose image and likeness he is created. Man being created equal, tears not man but God. To fear is to lose control of one's nerves, one's will, to flutter like a dying fowl, losing consciousness yet alive." Honorable Marcus Garvey, born August 17th. That's my reading for the day.
Well, I mean, I agree.
It's not directed at you. That's just my reading for the day. That's my reading for the day.
I feel like it's subtly, like
it's not subtly at you, because I don't have to be subtle all the time. I'm not being subtle. Not being subtle.
Okay.
Not being subtle. Not being subtle. Mm-mm. Nope. I'm just saying. We are what we believe. We speak If we believe, we become. So all I'm saying is, in the language that we use, we have to be careful that we are not speaking inferiority while complaining about being treated as inferiors. We are not inferiors. We are not somebody else's pawn. We are not at the mercy of another. We may be in a temporary condition, just like you can have a cold and have a temporary condition. Don't confuse your temporary condition of an illness as your permanent state of being, and don't claim your temporary condition of an illness as being your permanent being. So,
I mean, I get what you're saying. I think we just differ in the fact that if you name the illness, I don't think that you're saying, if I'm like, you know, I have the whatever, which I'm not even going to speak that, but I have whatever, you know, illness, that it means that I'm, you know, overcome by that illness. It's just right now I need to pay attention to this particular illness that, you know, I'm stating. And this just went back. I can't ignore things that I see, where a lot of times when this, I mean, there have been debates in our community so much about the minute something happens where somebody gets killed, and the trope again is forgiveness. We must forgive.
That's what I'm saying, but who's saying that?
And that is,
who is saying that?
My point in the beginning was just that I don't think, you know, if that's what works for somebody, because I hate for anybody to ever be in such a position like that. I wish nobody ever had to experience that. And I don't want to minimize anybody going through something like that. Me personally, I would not be trying to shove forgiveness down their throat. I just feel like that I can reconcile something. Like, I don't have to be focused on forgiving someone for me to be able to move forward from the transgression. I don't even have to be angry with them, wishing them any harm or anything. I can just dead it. I can recognize it for what it is and dead it. And I think that's, you know, I think sometimes we need to do that instead of just being ready to say, you know, forgive. But that's a whole nother conversation.
I think I agree with you. I think the only thing that what I may be saying differently is, you're saying that you hear this trope about forgiveness, and maybe since I don't pay them knuckleheads no mind, I don't hear it.
Oh, it is all on the news and everything.
Well, exactly. So there you go again. So you're saying it's all on the news. So,
and it's people that, you know, I mean,
why would it be on the news?
But let's close on an ever prophetic.
We're gonna close on Charles City.
I ain't never scared.
Okay.
Once you said the thing about being scared, I just gotta, you know, let everybody know I ain't never scared. So you know, told him what? I ain't never scared. So that's I don't, you know, we're not operating in fear. I agree with you with that great quote. You know, my people, let's not move in fear with anything we've gotten this far, and we will continue to persevere. We've been, as we read these stories about what our ancestors went through, and we are here, and we are making history right now. Never forget that you know, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 150 years from now, somebody will be reading about this time. And even, you know, just let's just go up like 20 years when we're all just a little older, but we're still, you know, it's still a time frame where we could be here. What is our story? When the kids are asking the questions about what was happening during this time, what do we get to say that we were doing and that we have done with our lives? So, you know, we're the history makers right now. We are.
Always have been and shall continue to be forever and ever. Amen.
Anyway, so we're gonna go on now, you guys. It's just because Bryony and I, you know, we talked about these week-long spurts now. It's like we got so much to say. I know I said we were just gonna do these stories. We're not gonna talk. We just gonna, you know, story back to back, and then we get up here and I read something and I make a face, and then I see him look at the face, and then a conversation ensues. So I hope y'all enjoyed the banter that comes along in between these stories. It's something that you're only gonna get here, and y'all can, you may agree more with Jordan on this.
No, there's no agree or disagree.
But I think it's thought-provoking conversation around Black culture, around literacy, and just things for us to get our wheels turning. Like, I think the conversation, the banter is always great, and y'all got it from two people who are, skin all in the game for a long time. So enjoy.
All I'm asking is, if there is no back door, let's not cut one for our own benefit.
Who's cutting?
I didn't say you.
Y'all,
personal.
Y'all, we're gonna head on out. Okay, y'all know how we get out of here. Okay, so thank you all for tuning in. If y'all enjoyed this, make sure that y'all share. Hit that share button right now. If you have not liked the Clever Communities in Action Facebook page, make sure that you do that right now. Also, if you have not subscribed to Clever Communities in Action on YouTube, make sure that you go and subscribe for us, okay? And again, we have some exciting things that are coming up. We know that school is approaching, and it has already happened for a lot of you around the country. So, Virtual Village family, we are still here with you. We are going strong, and we have some new things on the horizon. Thank you for tuning in on these Thursdays. Thank you for tuning in throughout the week. You all are awesome. We've done this together. We got Principal Kafele in the house. How are you doing? You missed a debate. I would have loved to have heard what you had to say about this debate that we had going on here. So we got to get you up here as a reader too as well. If you ever want to grace us with your presence, we would love to have that. I met Principal Kafele at the African American Male Youth Summit in Virginia Beach some years ago. He was the keynote speaker, and friended him on Facebook. I had no idea about all the wonderful things that he's doing in the realm of educating our youth and training up so many administrators to do it, the way that best serves our children and brings the best out of them. So, we just got a lot of greats who stopped through here. I love it. I love the vibes. This is forever a family affair. FUBU, for us, by us, bringing out the best of us, and making sure that permeates into our children. Let's leave on the Frederick Douglass quote. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men or women. So let's make sure that we are building up strong babies. And on that note, we love y'all. Can't wait to see y'all again next week. Be safe. Peace, family.
Look, mommy, community in action, but oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too, but oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirming, and culture for me too. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Learning and exploring my history, you see. Look, mommy, and let us down to that. We confident, we practice and develop fluency. Look, daddy, and let us down to that. Families, they bond and they representing me. Look, granny, and let us down to that. Look, I'm here, let us down to that. Nice, I see, let us down to that. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have to sit. Look, mommy, community in action. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Creative, affirming,